What if everything we thought we knew about digital currencies is about to be turned upside down? It started as a workaround for crypto traders, but is now shaping up to be something far more explosive. A currency with the power to potentially disrupt the US dollar's dominance and modernize global finance. We're talking about stablecoins, not meme coins, not altcoins, but utility-driven, dollar-pegged digital currencies that are suddenly drawing the attention of Wall Street, regulators, and even governments. And here's the twist. While the market cap remains small now, behind the scenes, stablecoins are making moves that suggest they could capture trillions in future value. So here's the million-dollar question. Is this the next Bitcoin moment? Or something even bigger? Do you believe stablecoins could actually replace traditional payment systems like SWIFT? Yes or no? Drop it below. Because by the end of this episode, we're revealing the 3 foundational triggers that will determine whether stablecoins explode or fade quietly into fintech history. This is Endgame Compass, and you're about to see why this untapped sector deserves your full attention. Welcome back to Endgame Compass. Not long ago, we broke down the fundamentals of stablecoins and their long-term potential. And the response from our community was clear. The interest is massive. So today, we go deeper. Because while this industry's ceiling is sky-high, most retail investors still find themselves locked out of serious exposure. Or worse, charging in without a clear plan and getting burned. Let's remember something. Even those who spotted Bitcoin early still faced major hurdles. Yes, it surged hundreds of times above its original value, but it also dropped violently, losing more than 80% multiple times. Many early believers got trapped at the top or shaken out by volatility they simply weren't prepared for. So how do we avoid that mistake with stablecoins? What if instead of raw speculation, we had a model, a framework for understanding when the right time might be to move in? That's exactly what we're building today. Let's start by zeroing in on what stablecoins actually are. At their core, stablecoins are cryptocurrencies built on blockchain, but with a crucial difference. Their value is pegged to a stable fiat currency, usually the US dollar. For every coin in circulation, there's supposed to be a real-world asset backing it. Most of the time, this backing comes in the form of cash or short-term US government debt. That's a major leap from traditional cryptos like Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are price-volatile digital assets with no underlying backing. So while Bitcoin relies on scarcity and speculation, stablecoins are designed as a utility-first currency, one that's tradable, traceable, secure, and stable. Here's where stablecoins start to punch above their weight. Compared to the US dollar, transferring stablecoin is cheaper, the speed exponentially faster, the audit trail mutable thanks to the blockchain. Compared to Bitcoin or Ethereum, stablecoins don't have that life-threatening price volatility. And that creates a remarkable possibility. For the first time, we have a digital currency that's actually built for spending, not hoarding. Because let's face it, no one wants to buy coffee with Bitcoin if it might double in value next month. But stablecoins slot neatly into everyday use cases. No price shock, no hesitation. In theory, stablecoins combine the strengths of fiat and crypto without the glaring flaws. That brings us to the key use case driving this revolution. Let's get real about how money moves in today's world. The global standard is SWIFT, a messaging system developed decades ago to process international source codes between banks. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's ridiculously inefficient. A single cross-border transaction may pass through 3 or more banks. Each one takes a cut, sometimes 1% to 10%, and you could wait days just for confirmation. Now imagine replacing all that with blockchain-enabled stablecoin transactions. No middlemen, no layers, just peer-to-peer transfers completed in seconds, at a fraction of a cent. Sounds simple, but the impact is unbelievably massive. We're not just talking about person-to-person remittances here. We're talking about global trade, the $200 trillion economy fueled by cross-border B2B transactions. Today, many small businesses say, a coffee farm in Latin America or a textile shop in Southeast Asia can't afford to export. Why? The payment fees eat into their margins. Suddenly, these businesses can afford to deal directly with foreign buyers, without relying on expensive middlemen or slow remittance firms. That means more participants, more volume, and a bigger, addressable market. This is why research from Bernstein estimates the stablecoin market could hit $4 trillion by 2030. And a joint report from the US government and Standard Chartered sees the space hitting $2 trillion. As early as 2028, with a projected annual growth rate of around 70%. But here's where we slow down, because this story isn't all upside. If you're still watching, you're not here for hype. You want signal over noise, substance over speculation. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on bell notifications. Here at Endgame Compass, we dive deep into financial trends the big media just skims over. And getting this early could mean everything for your future portfolio. Different from Bitcoin, stablecoins don't go up in price. It's the point, they're stable. Meaning you can't profit from a stablecoin simply by holding on to it. Instead, their value as an investment comes from adoption. The more they're used, the more valuable the infrastructure becomes. That's a commodities model, not a speculation play. You need real customers, people sending, receiving, and building around the coin. And that makes growth far harder than it was for early Bitcoin. Now here comes a hard reality. Even as stablecoins gain traction, trust remains low. Many so-called stablecoins don't actually hold full or transparent backing. Take Tether's USDT, the world's largest stablecoin. It still has a sizable chunk of assets not held in risk-free instruments, raising doubts about its reliability during financial stress. And in any currency system, doubt is fatal. If users think they can't redeem, or worry an issuer might collapse, the whole system can unravel, regardless of the tech behind it. So how do we fix this? Enter the Stablecoin Trust Act. It's passed recently by both chambers of the U.S. legislature. This bill sets key boundaries that could reshape investor perceptions. 4 highlights. All stablecoins must be backed one-to-one by safe, highly liquid assets, like cash or short-term treasury bills. Issuers must disclose holdings transparently. They can't pay interest, protecting the stablecoin's role as currency, not an investment product. Issuers must follow anti-money laundering rules and full compliance measures. This law doesn't just regulate, it legitimizes. And that's why we've seen renewed investor interest in the space. But again, regulation only lays the foundation, doesn't build the superstructure. Let's take a step back. Ask yourself, if you had to send a stablecoin today, could you do it icily? For most people, the answer is no. Working with stablecoins today means figuring out wallets, private keys, conversions, and blockchain addresses. That's confusing. And any mistake could lock your funds forever. Even worse, once real transaction volume spikes, many current stablecoin networks may slow down, not speed up, thanks to congestion issues inherent in legacy blockchain infrastructure. Until this friction is removed, the mass adoption curve stays flat. So what's the solution? We need major players, Visa, PayPal, Stripe, MasterCard, top banks, to build out stablecoin tools that integrate easily into existing systems. These companies have the licenses, the compliance departments, and the global reach. The problem? Most of them are just testing the waters, not fully committing. Why would they? Stablecoins aren't just new tech, they're an existential threat. Because if stablecoins win, these middlemen lose billions in transaction revenue, especially from cross-border payments. We're now facing a textbook deadlock. Big banks and payment firms have the regulatory muscle, but zero incentive to append their own cash cows. Innovators like Circle have the tech, but lack licenses and network reach. Regulators control the gateways, but fear instability, so they default to favor the banks. Nobody wants to blink first. That bottleneck is killing momentum. Let's get real. Stablecoins won't destroy SWIFT outright, the more realistic path forward. Integration. That means stablecoins plug into SWIFT systems, not replace them. It requires all 3 players to make compromises. Banks give up some fees. Issuers give up some decentralization. Regulators accept some new risks. If that happens, then, and only then, we may unlock the exponential growth stablecoins promise. So what does this mean for us as investors? Short term, yes, the recent legislation could fuel a wave of fresh momentum. But massive, long-term value that only comes if infrastructure gets built and true usability improves? That's the signal to watch. When regulatory wins start translating into real-world adoption, until that happens, Stablecoins remain a promising asset class with a sharp ceiling and well-defined limitations. So play the trend, but don't confuse it with a revolution yet. Let me ask you, do you believe stablecoins could one day replace Swift entirely? Or is this whole excitement just another hype cycle? Drop your take in the comments. I read everyone. If this brought you value, don't just hit like. Follow us here at Endgame Compass and turn on bell notifications. Because in today's market, the difference between reaction and preparation can be everything.